Hello everybody, it's Nastia here and you're watching True Talk on my YouTube channel. And today I'm making an interview with Stanislav Tolkachev, a face of Ukrainian techno. And I'm very proud of this because I've been trying to get him for a talk for a couple of years, and now he finally agreed, and it's his first interview in English. So Stanislav, hello.
Hi Nastia.
How do you feel about it?
I'm afraid a little bit, but yeah, I'm sorry about my English, but I hope everything will be fine, and you help me if I miss any.
Yeah, I'm sure everything will be fine. So let's get it started. We are now here in Tempelhof in Berlin, and it's your favorite city park. I was wondering why Berlin. Was it an obvious choice to actually come here and live here right now, or you could see yourself elsewhere?
No, actually I don't see myself in any other place because I have a lot of friends here and I feel much more comfortable to do music and travel because it also has a good airport and good connections, and so I think it's really my place and I really want to stay here for a while. I don't know.
I heard that your father, besides being a pilot, also played guitar, and your mother was working in a concertmeister in an orchestra.
Yes, my father was always in music, and he played in some ensemble, and my mother played piano. So I was surrounded by music by Beatles, and from one side, and from another side classical music by Bach, Chopin, and so on.
I heard that you in one of the interviews you said that you felt attracted to the synthesizers, and then obviously when you got older, and when you got your first computer, you kind of was attracted of all of these devices and stuff. Where did you see your first synthesizers? Where did you have an experience of touching it or playing with it?
Actually, my first synthesizer probably was the Ionica on the ensemble where my father played when I was a kid. But the real synthesizers I learned how to use with electronic music was on software. Actually, the computer and VST, like the Rebirth and Reason, was my first synthesizers in computer.
Where did you get your first computer? How old were you? Because it was quite luxury back then.
Yeah, exactly. My father, I had my first computer in '91. It was ZX Spectrum it was ZX Spectrum with cassettes. But before I started to learn computer 2 or 3 years ago, so when I was maybe 9 years old, because my grandma has good friends, and her friends work in the special kid garden, computerized kid garden. So
oh, really?
It was.
I didn't know that they existed.
But it was not in Ukraine. It was in Stavropol, where my father from, in Russia. So yeah, I was very inspired by computers from the childhood, and then they present me computer on my birthday.
When he was 9 or 13?
It was 91. So yeah, it's 9.
Like teenage, yeah.
Yeah.
And what did you do with your computer? Like, where did you study how to use it actually?
Of course I played games, but but then I started to try to program on basic, simpler.
How did you explore and get into this, like, a world of computers? Because
my parents care about it, so
they helped you. You had a teacher, or you were visiting some classes?
No classes. It was no classes. It was some books where I can just read the books and try to program it. So it was not very difficult.
What was next? How did you were growing on a military base in Dnipro, which is one of the biggest cities in Ukraine. And then when you had your first computer, and then you started to hang out with friends, and how did you discover the electronic music? I heard that you were listening techno on radio.
Yeah,
in 90s, but what was that radio? How can you explain us this way
Yeah,
of how did you get into electronic music and your interest?
electronic music was always my interest, but it was different, like the quality and the style. So the first electronic music, it was on cassettes from the market, from the streets in Ukraine. In 90s, it was just the pop Eurodance cassettes, and like also like U96 was my favorite. Snap and Bass Bumpers, Marusha, some that kind of stuff. And later, in the end of 90s, we have the radio shows. Substantia from Anatoly Topolsky was a really big inspiration, because every Saturday we listened to his show, and there I discovered the mixing, like the DJing skills, like, and realizing myself to do the same, like to
become a DJ.
To become a DJ, yes. My first DJ experience was on the tape cassettes. We just circuit bent my 2-deck magnetophone and put some resistors to change the pitch on cassettes. And then after I learned to DJ on a program which called VTT, virtual turntables, and I have had just the normal Sound Blaster card with one stereo out, and it was possible to send one left channel to the monitor and another right channel to the headphones. After I learned this, I was very skilled. When I came to my first gig, it was around maybe 2000 or 99 or 2000 when I went to the first club. So I have no question how to do it. So my first CD deck was Denon 2000, so I just played without mistakes.
Just like that?
Yeah, so I just learned by myself everything, so it was easy. And the same with turntables, I just switched through the CDs to vinyls, so no problem.
So for you it was like super flow?
Yeah, it's very natural to me. So.
And then how did you discover actually how to... Well, DJing was first.
No. I started to create music first, and then my first gig was just with my music. So yeah, I played all my tracks
really?
on my
So
set.
your first gig ever was already...
Yeah, 1 hour of my tracks. It was around 2000. But the music was not techno. I started my first. Tries in music was more house, like, because we hear the house on the radio stations, and the true techno I discovered a bit later. Yeah, so it was even earlier than 2000. When I get the internet at home,
When was it?
I think it's 98 or 97. I start to search and download music on Napster, database of pirate music. Also some internet radios. That was the beginning.
You say that your first DJ set was already with your music. How, even if it was house music, how did you make it? Like, what did you use to make it?
I used computer. The first. So my first computer after the Spectrum was IBM 486. It was very slow. So when I get my first sound card, the first CD I bought on the market was the How to Create Music. Then there I had the program Cool Edit Pro and SoundForge, and it was the only instrument, and Rebirth, of course. It was the only instrument for that moment. I slice and build the tracks just inside the SoundForge, just mixing the patterns inside one track, and then after I discovered the Cool Edit Pro, it was a bit later. So. You
were also interested about digital design, right? And you were working as a digital designer.
Design was later, like design starts in 2001 probably. My first job was in a radio station. I work engineer, I don't know, so in the music production studio. So I recorded the commercial clips, all this stuff, and so 1 year I worked in audio, and because I learned Photoshop and all these graphic programs, I just find another job as the designer, and from 2000 I start to work in the newspaper first, and then I went to the advertising company, do commercial billboards, this stuff, and after I switched to web design, during next 10 years maybe till I moved to Kiev, I work as a graphic designer in a good company.
So you were making music and releasing music as more as a professional designer rather than a professional musician?
Yeah, design is feeding me, and I get money from this job and spend on some instruments, so built my studio, and it was nice, but it was like independent.
I heard the funny story that the first year you started to buy and borrowing money from your boss on your designer job. And then because you had a good relationship and you were like
No, it was not the first synthesizer. The first synthesizer I bought was Korg MS-2000, and it was time when there were no credit. It was not possible to take credit for in the shops like today.
Yeah, not the loan.
Yeah, so the only option in my city was to reserve the synth and pay by parts, but the synth was in the store. I pay for it 3 months, like 3 parts, and a few times a week maybe I came to the shop and just watched my future synthesizer.
The first one.
Actually, the first one was the sampler, was a drum machine from Korg, but this story I like much more. So.
Let's talk about your vinyl collection, because I remember also the funny story how you were collecting vinyls and how you were talking to the labels, they were sending you a promo and stuff like that, because nobody, like, it was not the time when you had such a marketplace like Discogs, for example, or other.
No, Discogs already existed days. I learned how to ask records from the labels from my friends. We had a small techno community in Dnipro, like super underground, Robotech. Later they called them Kiev base. So these two guys, Walter and Minikin. So I know that it's possible to ask the records from the labels from them. And I sent a lot. I had a database of the labels, like searching and digging the music on Discogs, and then just write a letter by mail, like, okay, I'm Stanislav, I'm the young producer, listen to my music, so I'm doing some parties here, like cultivating this. And some labels really answered, and it was time when the digital was not very popular. So that days, vinyl still was very relevant, like the main media. And that's why it was possible to get, I don't know, promo by the label, like 5 or even more records for free. And I had at home, still in Dnipro actually, I have the records that was not in my style, because they didn't know what they sent to you. So just
you cannot check. You couldn't check.
Of course not. They just send what for. They decide what music they want to send, and it was like 1 or 2 records from the package you're receiving was okay. So it's for the playing, and another one you just put on a shelf to hide. Yeah, but first records I bought on the flea market, not the flea market, but from the DJs, DJ Arseny in Dnipro. So he selling me first records.
Was it good enough to what in Ukraine you could buy, or you had to order stuff from abroad?
No, it was just first records I bought used, and later I started to buy from Juno Records and directly from Axis Records, I remember, and then Discogs was the main source.
Making music. Because you were doing all the stuff in the same time, that's why I'm jumping from one to another, because I want to know everything. When you were making music, how did you send it? Like, how did you find your network of sending and promoting your music, or sign it to the labels? Because back then, nobody released music from Ukraine, I think, in international labels.
I always was focused on the foreign music scene, because it was no labels in Ukraine, and actually not a lot of musicians who did really techno. My first demos I sent by CDs, so the internet was very slow, and uploading the music was
not convenient.
Yes, not convenient, and And it was fun. You go to the post, like you send the email to the label, receive the address, and then send your CD to the label, and then they get the answer in a couple of weeks.
How many demos did you send before you signed the first track?
My first release was in a friend label, I guess. On internet I met a guy from Seattle, and he had his own server with the music. He loved techno, and he has at home his own server with a collection of music. I met him on MySpace, and we became friends. And in a year or 2 years, he started his own label, and he asked a track from me, and I think it was 2002 or 2003 when my first track was released on vinyl, so like this. And then long time I just released on digital on Christian Bloch label. A few years passed when I met Pajola, this Swedish label. When he released my first, it was the split record with Electra Bell, with two sides, 2 tracks from me, and after the solo EP.
Yeah, but how did you said you sent it? This was the result of you sending the CD with your demos to the labels.
Yes.
So they answered you and said like, we assigned these tracks. It was just like that.
Yeah, exactly. But you just agree by email, and then you send the tracks by CD.
No, of course, no deals, nothing. You just give your music to the label, they release, and you're happy. Like nobody was talking about
no
licensing, money, whatever.
Actually, the first this yesterday release, my first solo EP, we talk about money, but I ask. So in total, 230 copies was pressed, and I asked Mika to press these 30 extra copies in cost of my artist fee.
Okay.
So he sent me these 30 records, and I just spread the music in Ukraine. And
inside of community.
Yeah, so it was my payment for the music.
I wanted to ask you also about your how design is going in parallel interest of photography, because I know you are into photography a lot. It's cool that you have like music, design, and photography. It's a triangle of your art and interests, and I think they are kind of connected with each other. And how did you start to take pictures? What was your experience with cameras and photography itself?
We start make pictures on film camera together with my ex-girlfriend, with my first love in 2001. I took the camera from my father, and we just start experiment, just shooting. It was not a street photography actually. We just shot the abandoned buildings and each other. And then I also was interested in cinema, in black and white films. So it was the inspiration of trying to recreate some ideas, not just make the street photos. So I like to build the image as the art. And of course my design background really inspiring to do it. So I work in the office, I watch a lot of media content, so it's like learn by yourself to be an artist and photographer and all these beautiful things.
But do you know how to develop films and all work in a laboratory where you actually produce?
I saw it with my father, because every family, I guess, in USSR has this enlargers and cameras at home. So when I was a kid, my father, we print photos in the kitchen with him. So I saw the process when I was a kid, and then after we had already the mini labs to develop and print pictures from film, but of course later, because the creating to make pictures on film camera and black and white film and developing it by yourself, it's kind of playing vinyls. It's like very cool if you can do it, and if you can do it well, so you're great. So that's the motivation, to be cool.
So you did this. Oh.
Yeah, I know how to do it, and even more great if you switch from 35 millimeters to mid format. So the next camera after Zenith was mid format camera with these square images, which I still have at home in my studio. It's good to remember, and I'm really happy I know how to do it now. I even can teach someone how to do it, and it's nice. And now I found the Polaroid because that time Polaroid was forgotten, and no cassettes was produced. Now here I just realized that it's possible to find in any store here in Berlin, and also it's not super expensive, like 20 euros for the pack of the images. If you do it professionally, like creating some ideas, I think it's not expensive to use Polaroid.
So you enjoy it?
Yeah, I have Polaroid at home, and maybe we will get to my studio later, and probably I will do portraits of you if you have some time left.
When did you realize that you have enough pictures to kind of put it all together and represent it for some gallery or exhibition? How your first exhibition happened?
Exhibition is like the normal process of photographers. I just check some exhibitions of another artist, and we have the good gallery in Dnipro. It calls Art Kvartira, and the curator of exhibitions that time was Nikolasha. Nikolasha was the director of that period, the most modern magazine of art, Nash, journal Nash. So my first exhibition curator in Dnipro was Nikolasha from journal Nash. And my first exhibition was in Germany actually, and I sent my pictures by mail, but the real solo exhibition first was in Dnipro, curated by ex-director of journal Nash.
Do you still feel like you could be a part of this visual art? Or you're more into music now and then?
No, I'm not. I'm just not doing a lot of pictures lately. Yeah, the next record I will do this year. I will do with the picture I have in mind right now, and I have already the guy as a model. I will ask to pose for the picture, so it's like the continuation of music process, and then of course I can sell my prints. It also helps these days because I selling prints on metal. I do it with oil paint, so it looks like an art.
So we moved from Tempelhof to Trezor, Temple of Techno, as we say it. Maybe some people don't like it, but it's true. And it's actually the place where Stanislav Tolkachev, who I'm interviewing today, played his first international gig. Stas, what Trezor means to you? I understand the meaning, the feeling, but can you share with us your feelings about this place?
For me, it's a big honor to be a part of this big techno family, and because I grew up on NECHTO Records when I was 20. I still didn't release any record on NECHTO, but maybe it's still the dream to make it in the future. And I meet a lot of great artists here, and I played in NECHTO the most, and I'm happy that NECHTO team invites me to play here pretty often. Like the last time was in September, and the next one will be this month in March, where I will play live here.
So your first international gig, it happened 12 years ago, you said?
Yeah, I think around 12 years ago I was the artist of Full Panda Records, which run Dasha Rush, and she invited me a few times to take part in her full band showcases. And I meet here Sleeper Hive and Adamix and Unit Mobius Anonymous. I played vinyl here, so my first gigs was on vinyl.
Do you keep the connection and relationship with those people that you met for playing here?
We are friends. I met Adamix just a few weeks ago in Amsterdam, and we had a very good, friendly conversation. And I'm a good friend with Dasha Rush now, and maybe I will record something special for Full Panda in the future as well.
Cool.
So she supports me a lot.
But back then you had to actually apply for a visa. I remember that process as we were going to the embassy, or like pretty often we could get a visa for 3 months or 6 months. Sometimes it could be a year, depends on what you're applying and what kind of documents you present to the embassy. And it was quite complicated, but now Ukraine is free, Ukrainians have this free visa entry since 2017. Did it affect your touring schedule? Did you get more opportunities to travel around? Did it make it easier, or is there any other cool things and important things that you could actually achieve having this freedom to travel around Schengen zone?
The first visas was very short, just for 5 days. So it was just for the gig and back. To get first visa was very hard. I three times, because in Dnipro we had no consuls, so Germany. So every time I was need to get the papers, I went to Kiev. And first time I traveled to Kiev 3 times to get it, because the papers was very like, they didn't give me 3 times the visa, but for me it was like the dream. The Trezor invited me to play, so
you keep on going and applying.
And in the end, Trezor, just because Trezor sent the fax mail by phone to the main guy of the German consuls, they accept my visa, and the woman in the window just said, okay, usually we didn't give the visa to people with these documents, but I don't know, you are like exception, and so they just give me this holiday, and so I was super happy when I come to Berlin first. Now when we get this biometrical passports, of course it's changed everything.
Did you get more, do you feel like you're getting, I mean, of course you're feeling more free to travel, and did you get more gigs because of that?
No, it's not the bands of passports. So before we get biometrical passports, I had the business visa for 2 years, so it was the same.
But still, it's kind of a pain in the ass to go.
Every time, you need to care about it.
For me, it was the most stressful to kind of say in the passport control what is the reason where you're going, and you always need to kind of, be careful, because I always had this feeling that I cannot say that I'm performing because maybe they will not let me go because it's the work, and but now it's all different. And unfortunately, we were forced to leave Ukraine, and everybody lives in different places. You live in Berlin, and how do you socialize here? How do you find this life of a refugee? How your life has changed since you moved here? What kind of things you're facing as a refugee, and how to organize your life properly here in Europe to be able to stay here and to kind of integrate yourself in a local society?
It's 2 lives for me. Like the life of the musician and artist, where I have a lot of connections here, and it looks fine. Like, okay, I feel okay, good, stable with all these people and friends. But the other side is very different. Like, I need to learn German. I have to think about taxes and everything, and it's a big work I have to do during, I don't know, next year or 2. So it's very important. Otherwise, so I have no choice to do it.
What is the process? How does it work? You came here, you registered.
First, you have to go to learn German, because without language here, like a kid, you just can't do anything. If you need to go to any administrative building, you just need to find a translator, because you just can't. Germans not really speak to you on English.
Especially, I know that in the official, in the offices, they actually, for them it's prohibited to speak English, so you must learn German. They force you to learn German so you can actually find out and manage your life. Because if you want to live in Germany, you must know German language.
Exactly, and that's why I'm asking my friends to go with me for some things. Needs, yes. So it's.
And then I know that you were just going to the job center because you're not earning enough money to cover the insurance, and you want to attend this course of learning German.
It's okay to ask job center to pay for your studying here, because otherwise, why not? If they can do it, otherwise you have to pay 500 or something for in month. Like in school, you go at 8 till afternoon every day. So it's and this is what I want to do. Starts from June.
From June.
From June. This
6 months.
6 months is for the A2, and then you can learn more. So
you can continue learning with the different options.
Yeah, but it's important to receive certificate, and then with the certificate you can then move forward, like to try to find a job, because it's important to get status. Now all Ukrainians have this permanent protection visa, but it will finish, so you have to care about what you will do after. So you have to find job, like the normal job, or you have to register as an artist here, and then you, like a freelancer, pay all taxes and insurance by your own. So it's the big question, to find a normal job and don't think about this bureaucracy stuff, or do like depends just on your art. And but I'm not so like successful touring artist, so I really sometimes really feel bored or depressed, because okay, this month I have a gigs, next month I probably have no gigs, so it's not like the stable schedule of my performances. So maybe to find a job here, it's not the bad idea.
If you don't earn enough money with music and what you do, you'll be like obligated and force yourself to find a different job.
Yeah, everybody need to work here, because it's not cheap life here, expensive, I guess. So it's,
yeah, especially if you're underground artist playing music.
A lot of artists work on normal jobs here. It's normal. I know a few students which work in the kitchens or something, like, and then just doing the art here. I don't know. I never tried to be like the very commercial, successful artist, or do like the mainstream music.
You cannot adjust yourself to trends or wherever.
Yeah, it's. I need to understand what I want to do.
What you want to do and what you can do.
What I can, yeah. Well, because for me, to work is mean to learn and study as well. So a lot of things.
Since you moved to Berlin from Ukraine, how did your life change? What is like a certain lifestyle, which is like, what is the difference between living here, living in Ukraine? Or what is some new challenges you're facing here? Or like, can you tell us how your life actually changed moving around?
The difference to live in Germany, you have to be more responsible. In Ukraine, I was more relaxed. Everything was much more easy in Ukraine. Now I just integrating in this system, and it's one of the most difficult systems, as I know.
What about the language? Do you find it like difficult to learn? And I know that you're starting soon. The school.
I like German language, and I inspired to start to learn it, because like the feeling that you will know another language is nice. And of course, it's necessary to learn German for everybody who wants to live here. It's very important and necessary to go to the courses and learn German.
But Berlin is quite an international city. There's a lot of people speaking English as well. You're saying that the problem is only when you're facing some bureaucracy or some administration issues, or you feel it like even more like different
places?
It's
different because international means that people who come here to work or to build their careers, they have international passports, like European passports. So it's allowed to stay here like infinite time, so they can return anytime at home. For Ukrainians, it's a new home for a lot of people who come here. So to stay here, you have to prove that you deserve to be here. So you need to be someone here for Ukrainians.
Did I understand right that to get a job here, like not as a musician, any kind of a job, you must have the certificate that you get? You did a course of German, or does it, or you just need to learn it in a free way and be able to speak German? Do you know?
No, I think it depends of the company where they work. Like I think the most of the programmers who work here not speak German very well. Like if it's an English-speaking company, you can stay without this certificate. But I'm not a programmer, so I don't know where I can work without German language. And also the papers, like reading, is important. Like
so you feel you are kind of obligated.
But I like it. I like to learn it.
I know you maintained your lifestyle and got out of this, hardcore punk life, where like away from drugs, alcohol. I know you are waking up now at 5 in the morning, walking to the gym for an hour through the park, and then coming back, trying to work in the studio. Can we say that your punk techno life is over, and now you want to be more professional and responsible artist, and with living here, like to have this last chance to be the part of the serious, responsible movement and techno and just impact.
Exactly, it's true. I decided to stop use any drugs and. Because I need more time, and I need to be more responsible to everybody, and to the partners, to the artists, to the promoters, and at the same time to people I like and love. So it's very important. Was very important to change it, and now I really feel the results of that. I feel and looks better. Now it's time to work, like to do a lot of music, and the traveling was the big problem mostly. Now I feel more comfortable spending these hours in airport when you're straight and sober. So now it's really became interesting and more useful because you're spending time listening and reading something.
Did you become also more productive? Do you feel that you do more and you have more results, and like do you feel the effect of being like sober and focused? And
actually this I prepare everything to do this because I have also this local daily work, a lot of disintegration and everything. So I just, I'm sure that this is the good basement of upcoming a new wave of production, and I will tell you next time is it was productive or not. So.
But you're focused on that right now.
Yeah, for me it's the only interesting to make music now.
Do you have a lot of like plans? You have already like signed enough music to show your results in nearest month?
For a moment, I released all tracks. Like I don't have any tracks that
are not signed.
Not signed. So every new track I recording, I just immediately send to some labels, and I signed a few contracts now for upcoming months that I have to record the music. So they wait. So it's interesting. They order the music up front, and okay. So it's like a job now, but I still do my stuff. So it's
do you always get paid for the music that you produce and sign on labels?
Yes, of course. I always paid for the music.
And do you get money outside of the labels and your music? For example, the ASLIs, where people playing your music, you get some like fees from DJs, or you have maybe, do you work with Jam or any kind of system that
no,
help
I'm
you?
still not in Jam. It was I never give a fuck about the royalties. It was
not in your...
No, it was just mistake. I signed a few contracts with the label to get this royalties, like Talking Records, for example, but people not really play my music a lot because it's difficult. It's kind of some crazy tracks, and then so it's not the most of my tracks. No, it's not tool tracks. That's why the royalties is very low. Like last year, I received from a slice 100 euro for
the whole year.
For the whole year.
Okay.
So it's fine to go to buy some cables on Schneidersladen for this money, or I don't know, something. But it's not the money you really can live on. The gigs still the main source of income. The releasing tracks, it's also like, okay, to buy a synthesizer or something. Pleasures of creating.
I want to thank Trezor for letting us in and film this part here, because it's a great opportunity. Thank you guys. And we are moving now to studio of Stanislav, where he actually lives. So stay tuned and don't switch off. This is True Talk with Nastia and Stanislav Tolkachev this time. So finally we are in the studio of Stanislav. It's the place where he works and he lives. Stas, can you please tell us about what is this place?
We are in Attractive, and this is a studio apartments for the artists, for musicians, for electronic musicians, and for the rock bands as well.
How fast did you find this place? When was it? Like, how did you find it? And how long are you living here?
I live in here almost 2 years, and it was not actually it's not easy to find a room here because it's long queues, but I think because maybe I'm from Ukraine, they give me some privileges. I think so. So I'm lucky to have this room, so I can live and work here.
Tell us about your studio and what is your favorite gear here, and what do you use the most?
I will start from the table. I built this table by my own hands, like cut all this wood and screw it to the walls.
But it looks very convenient. I mean, this way of
yeah, it looks like organ in church, like the three. It's still the studio not finished because I still have no acoustic panels, and we'll see. Maybe during the year we'll fix it. And I have subwoofer here and 2 pairs of monitors I bring from Kiev, and actually all my gear I bring from Kiev. And as usual, I use the modular synths, these electron machines I use for production and for live performance. Now I have this push 3. Also, this is my complex sequencer I can connect to the rest of the setup, and Terry test drum machine, which can work together with the sequencer and also can be used as the standalone device for drums. But mostly I use it for controlling the sequence by triggers.
And this and this?
And so on.
DeepMind and...
DeepMind, this is the very very powerful, very powerful analog polyphonic synth from Behringer, and this is the FM synthesizer from Quark, also very nice. Also, I have some other gear I give to my students.
But what do you bring with you usually for the?
Now I have the new setup. So now I'm learning how to learn the new setup for new live sets. So this is the drum machine. I use it most for the drum grooves, syntact from Electron, because it's analog. It's mixed analog synths with digital synths, and this is the FM. My favorite FM synth from Electron, and this is the main sequencer. Because it's standalone device, I can export the project with sequencers. And now I'm working on recording CV signals. So because push is has the DC coupled outputs on board, I can record CV inputs, like the output from all these complex sequences. I can just record it in clips in Ableton and save it to control the synth voices on modular. So on stage I can just use the push as the core of the setup and send two cables to small modular synth voice and send pitch, CV and filter modulation. So it's very, very handy. Now for the next gigs I will prepare the pack of these sequences.
You didn't try yet, right?
Yeah, just yesterday I just asked this sound card from my friend to test it, and it works. So I'm really excited, because I think in Trezor on 30th of March I will play most. So I don't need the sequencer on stage now. So I will have sequencer in studio, and then I can just saving already recorded sequences in CV, like the result. And I really like it, because I'm the big fan of modulations, like using few sequencers in the track, and it's very hard to save for live set. So it's
yeah,
so this is
the
best and maybe the only way to save the tracks as the sequence for performing live. So it's, for me, it's very important. Finally, I will play live, not just with playback recorded audio. I mean, usually I use the recorded playbacks from my modular system and then arrange it on stage, like using drums. But now I will save like the controls for the rest of the modular system.
I was wondering about how you work with your music, how you make production. I heard you told me this personally, and I saw it in an interview, that you mostly first you record long sequences with a synth or bass synth or like whatever it is, and then you use it as a main craft, and then you add details like kick and drums and all of the percussion instruments, whatever you want, whatever you feel. So the original way to make music for you is to first record the synth, the sequences, and then you add things on top and see how it works together. Is it correct, or can you tell us the process?
No, actually the best process to me is to record track in one take. For techno music it's really possible when you use drums and synth and record it in just in as a live track. You play it on stage, you just push the record and recording it multi-channel. But of course sometimes I recording it separate, like okay, I just work on the synth line, I record the synth line live, playing it, and then I can arrange it later with any drum machine, or can overdub another layer of synth. But normally, like the best, like the most skilled to me is to record in one take, and I think it's very usual to techno producers It's not like very super special. It's just the normal workflow of the true techno artist I respect the most.
So you have this kind of vision that
it's very traditional to techno, I guess. Yeah, it's minimalistic. You use the analog simple gear, and you just control it during the recording, like playing the live instrument and save. Yes, so expressing yourself during the recording.
So it's a like real flow of creating things and capturing this.
Yeah, and when you're listening to music that was recorded like that, you really recognizing the movement of knobs. Like if you know that the track was recorded that way, you're just enjoying the feeling that the person who recorded, like you're understanding what he did during the recording. So if you do the music, you really understand the music which was created by other artists. So
so you can feel.
Yeah,
it's alive, kind of.
Yes, it's understanding of the process gives you more pleasure to as a listener. So
it's this kind of music sounds much more interesting for you than.
Yes, of course. I think it's have much more value than just playback clips on Ableton, like sample or drawing or sound design. For me, it's really much more interesting. Actually, I not feel that I'm do something very different than other artists. It's in my vision. A lot of musicians who record in techno or electronic music, they do the same. So it's just the modular is standard of nowadays for a lot of musicians. Everybody has modulars.
You think so?
I think so, yeah. Or maybe just in my world. And
yeah,
but for me, it's just very normal, that kind of workflow.
But many people are working with only software, for example, and you said in the Temple Hub that you also in the beginning you were using only like programs in the computer.
Yes, but it was 20 years ago. There was no modulars. Like it was okay. It was not so popular. Modulars was. Yeah, of course. When you're a kid, you start from software, of course. But for professionals, I think this is very logical to start using this if you're doing techno. Okay, for house music, maybe it's not so necessary, or not necessary, but maybe it's not the part of the ideology of this style of music to use modulars. But electro and techno very connected to gear philosophy, and it's affordable. So you can start from cheap modulars. And actually, I use Doppler. I have a lot of Doppler. It's not expensive, but the quality is very good.
Yeah, but many people find using Ableton very convenient and useful. As like in Ableton, you can do actually everything. Like you can buy.
Of course, but we talk about analog sound now, like modular is mostly for analog sound, and of course you can use the digital oscillators and processing them, but mostly it's about.
Did you realize that there is a less analog sound nowadays? That most of the producers they work with software. Did you realize it?
That the modulars became less popular?
Yeah, it's like vinyl, like less vinyls, less analog, because the new generation, they find they're looking for the easiest and fastest way to produce music, because it works and it helps a lot to your career, to your profile.
Every young producer starts from software, of course. You can't just buy the studio in one moment. You just learning what equipment you need for in the future. You just start to buy machines, because it's tradition, like it's the school.
It's the way.
School of electronic music. Soft is just recreating the work of analog modeling synths enabled, and it's recreating the workflow of the real analog synths. why should I? Because it's just more comfortable, of course. But when you get more in this community and this artistic life and performance and everything, you just understand that it's not enough just to use analog modeling scene if you can start to use the real analog.
I remember that there was a chapter in your life as a musician that you were using only hardware and you were recording all of your tracks live. And then so you were kind of skeptic with the software, and then you came back to software later because of the Ableton and because of the opportunities that you can.
Yeah, it was a period. It was for a few years when I used just synths and Porta Studio, the standalone recorders, but and it was fun. But I just. It's about responsibility, I guess, because it was more punk style recording. You just setting everything, recording it in one take, and most of cases you just keep it as you record it. No mixing, you just mix it or mixing on analog console, and the result was. Sometimes it was nice, sometimes not. The track is so good, but mixing maybe not so good. But anyway, I will send it to the label, and so now if I just switched to this RME sound card, I sold my Porta Studio I had, and I'm very happy because actually this sound card can work as a standalone recorder as well. It's like the 20-channel recorder that can save it real time on the flash stick, and also you can use the Ableton. So it's about responsibility and the quality. Now I'm really focused on the quality as well.
How about teaching? I know that you started to teach when you were living in Kiev, I think from pandemic, no?
Yeah, exactly. When the gigs finished, I just lose all my lose work and lose job, and I have to find some solution. So I decided, okay. And it was a good period because we have a lot of young people that, because the club culture in Kiev was very good developed and grow this years because of the Kirillovska and also this model exchange school. So it was a lot of young people that finished the first classes of music schools, of music electronic schools.
The basic level.
Like the how to work on Ableton, and they was very interested to learn like the next steps of how to use the gear. So it was very in time for a moment, and actually it also was to save my life because during the year I had maybe 30 students, which I work personally. They come to me as a doctor. It was like the psychotherapist. They came to me and I just talk with them. And for each person, it was different. Like what kind of equipment I can advise to them. And then during few lessons, usually they bought this equipment, and then after they leave it, they start to work already on a new gear. So it's nice. I found a lot of friends during this year. I'm still in contact with them. Like Vitaly Shevchenko also was one of these guys. Now we are good friends, and some other. Now here in Berlin, I have just few youngers who come to me like from the summer. They come from zero, like they learn how to, like they came for the modelers, and they still come and they still studying. Like we agree for the lesson with one of them for the next week, and now he work on his own vinyl using my equipment. So I teach him how to use it, and now he's a student. He's studying in some audio institute. So he come to record his tracks already set at studio, and I just listening what he's doing and can advise him or help with the patching. So I think it's nice.
So you're actually helping him to work on his production?
Yeah, I'm just providing and support him on these first steps, and then after I'm sure I will try to help him to find a label or something, like to give his music to other people, like send it to some friends.
Yeah, it sounds like you're quite enthusiastic in teaching. Do you really I see a certain joy in your eyes when you talk about it, and
it's because I'm in my studio
and you enjoy the whole environment.
I just drink a little bit coffee and I'm refreshed now.
Yeah, and
we don't talk about cancelling anymore.
Do you prepare for the classes when you're expecting some new students? Like, do you find it very useful for yourself to learn things while you're preparing for your students? Like, is it also a part of your self-education to kind of?
Yeah, it's very inspiring to me as well. Sometimes when I'm showing some tricks on the modeler or some workflow patches on machines, I just refreshing it to myself, and I use it to my own tracks after the students leaving the room. So it's you just inspiring by the moment, and then just okay, the track is almost ready.
So yeah, it's very practical.
Yes, of course, and as well, I found the new friends. So all these few students I teach, we just I invite them to parties we organize. I put them on the guest list. So
you hang out
Yes,
sometimes.
it's good conversation.
Stanislav, the last question.
Yes.
What are you working on right now?
We are working on new Rudiment compilation. It will be the charity compilation, which the money we will donate to Ukrainian Fund of Hospitaliers. And this is the huge compilation of 44 tracks where I collect tracks from the worldwide names like Mike Parker, Oscar Muller, Steve Bicknell, Conceptual, Deliria, Peter Manifeld, Sleeper Hive. So very, very strong lineup, and together with Ukrainians, young and professional musicians. I hope it will be released on March, so it's very, very close. The artwork was made together with Anatoly Borisenko from Collider, Kiev, in my photo studio when the war begins. The money will be donated to Ukrainian battalion of medical battalion, which rescue injured soldiers from the front line. I really want to thank all artists which take part in this project. I'm really sorry about little delay because we just stuck with the mastering.
This is digital only?
Yeah, it's digital compilation. I don't know, maybe I will do few physical copies with prints, with QR code like the artwork plus digital music. We'll see. I don't know yet, but yeah, it's 44 tracks, which be available very soon.
And what is Rudiment actually?
Rudiment is my label. We run it last 2 years ago, and we already has the first charity compilation, which was released when the war begins. So in total, we will release 2 compilations now because we just signed. I just agree with Triple Vision, the distributor, and because the first release was released just on Bandcamp, now it will be spread professionally on all marketplaces. So yeah, two releases will be published. First compilation, which was released 2 years ago, and the new one together on Bandcamp and all music stores in digital.
But what about the parties that you organize? It's because you did few already.
Yes, we did few charity showcases as a Rudiment promo in Berlin in Club About Blanc. last year.
Last year, but also the year before. 2 at least for the Christmas event.
Yeah, one was last spring and another one was before the Christmas. But also I was the part of Maria label who also did few charity events. So it's kind of it's not
it's different, but
it's different, but it's the same concept and the part of the team of the Maria team now the part of the Rudiment label.
So it's just a little bit. Change around, but it basically is the same thing.
Yeah, like everybody doing, like it's also very typical for Ukrainians to do charity events in Berlin because we have to.
And finally, what do you want to achieve in the nearest future?
I really want to find some stability in my life now. So it depends on a lot of factors, like planning my expenses, to have more regular bookings, go to the German classes. So I really need to set this basic levels of life to build this higher stairs of this pyramid, because when everything is stable, the music is better. I'm sure, like you just enjoying. You're sure that everything is fine, and you just enjoy.
Thank you very much for the interview. I know it was not
Thank you very much, Nastia.
easy, but
nice to meet you.
we did it. Yeah, I wish you the best.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone for watching. This was True Talk with Nastia and Stanislav Tolkachev. And stay tuned, subscribe, like, whatever, comment. Yeah, I don't do this stuff, but it's up to you. Thank you. Bye, guys.